Are Russia-Europe talks quietly restarting? The Kremlin has confirmed that low-level contacts between Moscow and Paris have resumed after French President Emmanuel Macron spoke about restoring dialogue with Russia, but Moscow is cautioning against reading too much into it. The Kremlin says these contacts do not yet amount to political engagement at the highest level, and so far, Russia says no other major European capital has taken concrete steps to reopen dialogue. Moscow says it is open to talks and has never closed the door on dialogue with Europe. But the Kremlin insists that words alone are not enough to change the state of relations. According to Moscow, despite public statements, there is still no political will in European capitals to move toward a real reset.
Indeed, there were contacts. We can confirm this, which, if desired and necessary, will help to establish a dialogue at the highest level quite quickly. So far, we have not received any indications that this desire exists. Although we paid attention to Mr. Macron's statement about the need to establish relations with Russia, we are impressed by such statements. We have long said that it is illogical, counterproductive, and harmful for all parties not to bring our relations to a zero state. And Russia has always been a supporter of maintaining a dialogue. As for other European capitals, there have been no such initiatives so far.
Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov adds another layer to that assessment. Lavrov says European states are quietly reaching out to Moscow through backchannels. But according to him, these private contacts mirror public rhetoric and signal no real policy shift inside European capitals.
There are contacts trying to be established through different channels by some European neighbors of ours. But through these channels, honestly speaking, nothing new compared to what the corresponding countries say publicly comes to us.
Lavrov is also warning against inflated expectations around US pressure on Europe and Ukraine. He says claims that President Donald Trump has forced European leaders and President Volodymyr Zelensky onto a peace path are premature. According to Lavrov, negotiations on Ukraine are ongoing, but a settlement remains distant, despite a second round of talks now scheduled in Abu Dhabi.
We have discussed this several times. We must not succumb to an overly enthusiastic perception of events, that President Donald Trump has straightened the Europeans up, straightened Zelensky up, and is demanding that they comply. This is all well and good if we want to achieve peace in Ukraine, but we are not there yet. The talks are continuing, with the second round taking place in Abu Dhabi, but there is still a long way to go.
The same tone is now coming from Berlin. Russia's ambassador to Germany says Moscow is open to restarting dialogue with Berlin, but only on what he calls equal terms. He says relations built over decades are frozen, and that there are no real conditions yet for a serious revival of ties with Germany.
So far, I do not see any prerequisites for a serious revival of the Russian-German dialogue. This is very sad, to be honest, because what has been worked on for decades, for several generations, now everything is put on the ice. In any case, as for the Russian side, we are open to dialogue, for constructive, equal, what the Germans say at eye level. Of course, without high-profile instructions, without ultimatums, it is useless to threaten us with a finger. This is counterproductive and usually does not lead to anything good.
Beyond politics, Moscow is also attacking what it calls Europe's cultural isolation of Russia. Russia's envoy in Berlin says attempts to cancel Russian culture in Germany are futile and counterproductive, while German culture continues to be promoted in Russia. As Europe debates dialogue, Moscow's line is clear. Russia says it is open to talks, but not to lectures, ultimatums, or symbolic gestures without real political change.